Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored, joined by Esther Krakue, the TalkTV contributor and associate editor of Daily Mirror, Kevin Maguire. You've been waiting very patiently watching these two big interviews. Esther, Sadiq Khan,
yes.
He attracts equal amounts of loathing and love. He's obviously been re-elected. He probably will win again, judging by the candidate put up against him. What do you make of that interview?
I was very surprised. I went into that interview wanting to throw eggs at him over ULEZ. I still kind of do, but he was very polished. He seemed very sincere, and the thing is, you can understand his appeal. I've often made comparisons between him and Suella Braverman because I think they're two terrible politicians. But actually, I think he needs to do more interviews in this style because it makes him seem more genuine and more likable in ways that Suella Braverman just isn't. He's not as unappealing and as repelling as she is.
I mean, I think, Kevin, with him, that I having personally discovered that pollution was really impacting my health and doing something about it and it working and it was cleaner air, I am, I'm pretty wedded to this idea we need better quality of air.
Yeah.
It's how he's doing it seems to be divisive because it does seem to be the poor elements of society in London that are having to pay because they can't afford to make the transition to the new, more expensive cars.
Yeah.
And that is the problem he's got to get over.
All the poorest in London don't have cars, they use public transport. But the fact is he's doing something.
Yeah.
And he is a politician who's doing it. Now, charging is crude. So I'm normally hostile to it, but you can't carry on with dirty air in London. No. It is a very polluted city.
One of the things I found difficult to square with that policy is because of the MOT emissions test that were updated in 2018 and will probably be updated in the next couple of years. You know, he actually could have realistically waited a couple of years before he implemented
I think he has to. I think he'll have to adapt it, but I do think I think his heart is in the right place on it.
Yeah,
and I think that's what people. That's why probably the polls are divided because I think people think, well, he's right about. It's like the eco guys with the throwing the paint around. If they didn't do that, I'd be more supportive.
Because I remember the opposition. He mentioned it. Sadiq Khan mentioned it to ULEZ in central London, and then most people realise they don't pay it.
Yeah.
Most cars are compliant.
Yeah.
In outer London, most people are going to realise their cars are compliant. If you've got a car that isn't compliant and you're going to have to pay the charge, it's generally a diesel more than 8 years or a petrol over 16 years.
Yeah,
There's very few cars.
Let's talk quickly about Vivek Ramaswamy. Fascinating character.
Fascinating. I feel like he talks in like internet sound bites. Like he doesn't make any sort of coherent
Well, he's a dynamic
points.
entrepreneurial guy. You know,
he's memeable.
He's one of those motivated types.
Yeah, he's memeable. He's like one of those entrepreneur like sites pages you follow on Instagram, being like, oh yeah, drink cold water in the morning to get you going. Like that's what he is.
But is he real or is this all just show and no substance? Do you think?
I would say all show and no substance. I think he's glib. Look, he's changed his position on Ukraine. He wouldn't admit that. He talks about the truth, but he was peddling 9/11 conspiracy theories.
Well, he didn't change his position. He didn't know what he was talking about because he doesn't have the.
Well, he wanted to give the bully a punch in the face, but now wants to give the bully what he took, and I don't think you can square those two positions. But he's energised that race. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Guys, I've got to leave it there. Thank you for being patient, listening to those two interviews. We'll get you back and have a longer chat about other things we've missed in this summer. But good to